Cool. You want to get into this next segment and talk a little bit about um this new special that just came out?
Heat. Yeah, it was Heat. Before we do, check us out below social media. That was the Meet Mike portion of this episode. And now we're going to talk about some legends because we're legends, but not as big as these guys
Not
and these
yet.
women. And greatest night in pop, one of the best documentaries I've seen.
Yes.
Um, and I have, obviously there's some great ones out there, rock, all that stuff. It's one of the best I've seen in terms of for me because you have Lionel, you have everything, and
It resonates.
yeah, it resonates a lot. And to be honest with you, I don't even like the song. Right, the song's good. I
The
don't listen
song's
to it.
okay, right?
It's good. I actually they made a thing in the beginning. I don't was it them or maybe I saw it on Facebook. I don't think it was in the documentary, but like around the same time they did the Band Aid song. Do you know? Do you know it's Christmas time at all? Whatever it is.
Yeah, that
Um,
was the year. That's where they got the idea for
yeah, for We Are the
the
World. It was
the
it was
yeah,
more
yeah,
of the British artists. I know there's a couple American artists in there, but
Wham.
yeah, like that song was. I mean, I think that
Yeah,
song's far superior.
yeah,
But no, it's the biggest thing that stood out to me is just how much footage they have of all these things. Like I just think of and we'll talk about Prince in a second. But like how much footage they had the MJ documentary earlier this year. How
yeah,
much footage they have of these people that is just sitting there. And it's like, I want to see it. It
yeah,
was so cool to see, like even Lionel. Like I some of them I think they reconstructed some scenes. Like they like for example, they had, I don't know if you remember, they put like pictures of every artist down, like and they made like
yeah.
kind of like a circle on the floor. And I
Hmm.
looked and I was like, that's that's Prince from 1987. So this is definitely not from this time. So they probably redid this, but it's still cool to see how um
Yeah,
they
I
laid
didn't
it all
notice
out.
that.
Yeah, no, it just the footage. Another standout was, I just think Stevie Wonder is like he's such a G. Like they
Bro, he's
called you
like,
four times. They called you four times on the phone to do this song and you just don't answer. And then you just show up.
yeah,
Like he
they,
can do that.
and it's funny how they kind of I feel like they kind of thought he would take it a certain way that, once they told him, "Hey, Michael and Lionel kind of already wrote the song," but he was like, "Okay." But it just goes to show he's like, I don't know how to even explain it. Like for him to just go with the flow, jump in there, do what he does, joke around, and that was hilarious. How he just was just messing around when they have this one night to put this whole shit together, and
Yeah.
but then at the same time, like later on when he's like helping who was he helping trying to hit like a certain note or vibe? Was it Bruce Springsteen or Hugh? One of them. Remember, he was like he basically like they went. I think after they got the chorus part down, and now they were focusing on the verses and the
The
solos.
solos. Yeah.
They were having kind of like issues with it, and they were all like kind of crowded around the piano, and then they basically played and sang it the piano version with Stevie, and then he kind of helped. I honestly forgot who it was. It was either Bruce Springsteen or Huey Lewis, I think, for their
Somebody,
solo
yeah.
part, like how to like hit it. I just thought that was amazing. I'm like, damn,
I
Stevie is amazing, bro.
yeah, I saw a post and like we can definitely do another episode of this, but like is Stevie Wonder the most underappreciated artist in this like right now from young people from this generation?
Well, I mean,
And
I feel like when you talk about the younger generation, there's definitely a lot of underappreciated artists, but
well,
for sure,
because you see like
absolutely,
MJ all over TikTok, you see people doing the impersonations, you see that.
yeah,
Um,
he's kind
you
of
don't see a lot
just
about Stevie.
yeah, a lot of guys, man. Like, in when you talk about your biggest takeaways, like I didn't realize how much of a role that Lionel Richie had. Like, that was kind of cool to see. Um, I feel like he's very unappreciated as well in general, not just with certain generations. But that was cool to see how um his role in that, but then specifically like, you know, like on the spot, like handling all these different big artists and egos and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like he's going around and just like solving little problems and stuff. That was dope to see. Another big takeaway for me was I don't feel like I feel like I didn't realize the magnitude of like, that was the whole point of the documentary is like, yo, like they had this one night, one session, but like it was long. I didn't realize it was that long. It was after an award show ceremony. Like that was
Yeah, the American
crazy
Music Awards. Yeah,
for a majority of them to stick around for like 10 hours plus like to get this thing done. That was dope.
yeah, yeah. It was back to the Lionel thing. Like I knew he was big. I didn't think he was. I didn't realize how big he was. Like I didn't even remember him getting 6 awards. I didn't even know that
Yeah. Yeah,
for
he
his.
bought it.
I think that was his.
That's crazy, right? He
He has
hosted the
hosting it and
award
he's getting
show,
award.
won bunch of awards, left there and yo, crazy, crazy, crazy.
I think that was the
Legendary.
his album went all night long. I think that was what he had won for. Um, the other thing too was it was just I don't know if you remember this part, but they had like Diana Ross walked up to uh was it Huey Lewis? It was somebody,
At the
and
end.
she was like, I'm such a big fan. Like, can you sign
Oh,
my work?
yeah. Yeah, that
And then
was
they all
incredible.
started signing everybody's work.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
that is
funny because
just
I feel like, and I don't really know if like artists nowadays kind of have the same impact that these people did, but I think at the time I feel like these people didn't realize, or no one kind of realized, I mean, how big and how legendary they were or would be. You know what I mean? So it just, now looking back at it, like that room, like for all these legendary artists to be in one room and then to see that, like their interactions was like the coolest thing. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
Quincy
It was
put a
it.
sign up that says check your ego at the door, and they really did. You know what I'm saying?
He's just a mastermind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was anybody else that could get everybody in a room like that.
Yeah.
Um,
He's the probably the only
it,
guy who could ever do that.
and I think it probably took a couple hours for everybody to humble down. I think probably first couple hours there was a lot of energy, and
Yeah.
then after the first couple hours, they're like, you know what, we're all in this. Like, let's be friendly. The funniest thing was when I don't know, all the Stevie Wonder things cracked me up the whole time. Like Stevie Wonder was just hysterical in this thing.
Yeah.
Um, he does the um him and Ray Charles go to the bathroom together. He's like Ray's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And he's like, all right, I'll show you.
Bro, the blind
Like
leading the blind, that shit
yeah,
was hilarious.
that was
Like,
great.
that's like, how is that like the fact that that's a story, like that shit's just hilarious. It's crazy.
And the fact we have footage of it, like that's the biggest thing. Like
Yeah.
it's where was this? Where has this been? Why is it waiting till
Yeah, I
now?
mean,
Like
all I
where has
think
this
we've
been?
just for years, all these years, just kind of seen the video itself, but like just clips. Um, Dopest thing, obviously, to see was um, the other mastermind, Michael. Like you could tell, like
Uh,
that that song and that project itself was very, very meaningful to him. Like he took that shit so serious. And that now it's funny. I look back at, so it's funny, this documentary came out, and what was this? This was the 40th anniversary or almost, or something like that. Almost, it was
yeah,
about 40 years ago,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um I think actually next year would be 40, like in January. But recently, like I've seen memes or like videos that have gone viral of like they have the part where Cyndi Lauper is doing her little solo, and like everyone's like, it's a meme because Michael's there, like he's just mad serious the whole time, and everyone's like, Mike, like he's like, what the fuck is going on or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, what
But
is
now
this?
it kind of comes full circle. I like, you see like the footage of him like in the studio hours before all this, like everyone arrives, like doing the, you know what I'm saying, the reference tracks, and it's like you could tell it was his baby. Like he cared so much about this project. Um, so that, I feel like that was really cool to see too.
Yeah, it was, the the cool thing, it was kinda different. In the beginning, they kinda showed, like, MJ's kinda weird side. They Lionel touched on that, like, with the snakes, with
Yeah,
the
oh yeah.
animals,
I was not
and I was
surprised
like,
with that shit.
no, I was not surprised. I was like, "Do we have to cover that?" But I was like, "Alright, not
Yeah.
surprised." No, not surprised by that. I kinda so another cool moment in there, um, is when they all so I had no clue that Harry Belafonte basically brought this whole thing, like, the
Well, yeah,
idea,
sparked the idea.
um, and when they started singing his song to him, that was like I
That
was
was a
chills. I was
moment.
like, "Wow."
That
I
was
was
a
like,
moment.
"Wow."
Yeah.
Like, "Wow." That was yeah, that was a good and I don't even I know some of his songs. I'm not even a big fan, but, like, I wanna go now kinda check him out and kinda learn a little bit about him. Like, I had no clue he was activist and doing all those
Yeah, I
things.
feel
Like,
like that
that
was
was
and neither do I. I don't, and it's funny because he has a lot of like special ties to this area and specifically like New Bedford and stuff. I read that recently,
really?
but yeah.
Oh,
Um, but I don't know. I feel like that's what he's even more known for is being the activist and doing all this other stuff. So that's dope, and it's another just if you're geeks like us, you're gonna go and just dive into researching all this stuff. So
yeah,
let's talk about your boy
absolutely.
Prince, man.
Epic. Such a G. He's such a G.
He should have
Yeah,
been in that. He should have been there,
I
bro.
yeah, he just I just think he reading a lot about him, he wanted things his own way. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts where it's like, what if Quincy Jones produced Purple Rain? What if Quincy Jones produced, his album? I don't know if you ever listened to Sign of the Times, which is probably one of my favorite albums by him. It's one of his best ones.
Hmm.
Um, but the production is so bad. Like it sounds 80s. Like it's no, and it's like, what if Quincy Jones produced Sign of the Times? Prince was never going to allow that. It was he wanted full control. And nor do I think he wanted to be my personal opinion. I don't think he wanted to be friendly with anybody. I think he wanted to come in. He was like that
Yeah, that's
DJ
the
who wants to
part.
compete with everybody
That's
and
the
kick their
part
butts.
that I'm like, for this one project, you could have just, you know what I mean?
He
I
wanted the guitar
respect it.
solo,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
I
I
I
mean,
think I think it could have
it would
happened.
have
I don't know why they said no.
it would have sounded dope on that. I don't know what I don't know. I feel like they kind of just had their mindset on what the structure would be. A guitar solo would have sounded dope on that. Like, why not?
And it,
I
it
had
could have
chance.
changed it could have changed history with him too in a little way because he wasn't really heralded as a great guitarist at that time because he was, black, R&B, all
Yeah.
that stuff. He was one of the best guitarists of all time. I don't know if you ever seen the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show that he did, where he
No.
covers "While My Guitar." You have to watch it. At the end, he goes off, and it's like imagine him having that moment in "We Are the World." Maybe he gets respected more as the guitarist because he played all instruments, but his
Yeah.
guitar was like he was one of the best ever.
What I will
If you really
say
listen,
is if it's one thing I do respect about Prince, and especially recently so I listened to a lot of different can you still hear me? I think I'm frozen.
yeah, I can still hear you. But yeah, you're frozen. Frozen Brian's back.
Here we go. It's just like it gets to a certain amount of time that we hit and then it just freezes on me. I don't understand. Um but I've listened to a lot of recent interviews from other artists who've met Prince and they talk about like just what you said like like, how we wanted things his way, but specifically like when it came to music, he was big on owning your masters.
Yes, he changed the game.
So there's this famous story, right? So I watched and listened to Drink Champs. I don't know if you've ever watched it. Um,
A couple times, yeah.
they had Nas on there, and they asked Nas, "Is there any artist that you wanted to work with that turned you down?" And he said Prince. And the story is he met him or whatever, and they're talking, and he, said, we should work together. And Prince asked him one simple question. He's like, "Do you own your masters?" And Nas said, "No." And he's like, "Go take care of that first. I'm not trying to put their kids through college." I was like, "Damn." I highly respect that. Um,
Yeah, he
I
was big on
definitely
that.
think he had this ego and stuff, but he knew his shit before a lot of people did.
He was big on that. Like there's documentaries about his 90s and the fight he had with Warner Brothers and all that stuff. He was a little petty, he kind of pushed the fans aside
Yeah,
for a while. Hearing things. Obviously, I wasn't around, you weren't around, but like
yeah.
um, he there was a lot. So he's definitely respected when it comes to that. The it I did feel like I love Sheila E. I love her songs, love her music. And Prince wrote almost all of her music. And I kind of felt her being on there was kind of like, I don't know, money grab. Like it just
They
it was
and she even said it, but they definitely tried to use her for sure.
well no, on the documentary. I'm talking like on the documentary itself. It's like, all right, you're there. You're always talking in regards to Prince. Um, like I don't know. It just felt like, why are you here? Like, yeah, you were there, and yeah, it is sad. They probably were using her um,
Yeah.
to try to get him there.
You're saying specifically for the interview for the doc.
Yeah, just I don't know. I just felt like she was just there to tell the story about Prince, and that was it. But they
Yeah,
made a big thing about her.
yeah, and I noticed a bunch of artists that were part of that they didn't really show or talk about. Like
No,
I didn't realize the basically the rest of the Jackson 5 was part of that.
which so not all of them, but that was a
Yeah, there
joke.
was like at least
And
3 or
even
4
the
of them.
sister was in it. Yeah, even but like if you're gonna have any of them, have Jermaine. Jermaine wasn't there. Like, why you have the other three that don't do anything? Like you have their sister there.
Yeah.
Who? Why?
Um,
Because she's just Michael's sister. Like, yeah, but if you're gonna have Sheila E. on, why don't you have one of the brothers on to talk about Michael?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't. That was kind of like weird, like how they didn't do that. You know,
Do you think they could pull something like this off again? Say maybe for the 40th anniversary next year.
like a new song.
I don't know, maybe a new song. Um, I guess I would say maybe
They
yeah, a
already
new
did that.
song. Huh?
They already did that. They did that in the early 2010s.
What was that?
They did "We Are the World" too, or something like that. It was like with Bieber, Will I Am. It was horrible. They
Oh
already
my
did that. I
god.
don't think they're gonna do that again. No,
That's why I
no,
don't remember it or realize that there was another one.
no.
Do
That's
you
not gonna
remember
happen
who
again.
else was in there? Because I'm like over here thinking today, I'm like, who would they put in it like right now? You know what I mean?
I think. I know. I think it was definitely Justin Bieber. I think Will I Am produced it. Yeah, it was "We Are the World" 25 for Haiti. So they just redid the song. Uh, and Wyclef however you say his name,
Wyclef Jean. Yep.
Wyclef John, and then so I guess
Probably his
Quincy and
idea.
Lionel, yeah, Quincy and Lionel were there. But you had
Really?
solos, yeah, you had solos. It was Bieber, Nicole Scherzinger, Jennifer Hudson, Josh Groban, Tony Bennett, Mary J. Blige, and then they had like part of Michael Jackson's part, but he was obviously passed. Janet was there. You had Miley Cyrus, Jamie Foxx, Adam Levine. Oh my God, Pink, and then you had
Wow.
LL Cool
Definitely.
J, Snoop Dogg, Nipsey Hussle.
Why?
You had the guy who sings "Replay" on there.
IS?
Yes,
Wait, so what was there like what were there like raps in the verses or something like that? I'm like, why are
I
all
guess
these
so.
rappers there? Okay.
And then you had like one of the guys from Earth, Wind and Fire in there. I know
Yeah.
you had a couple of them. Um, yeah, I don't know. The
Probably
Beach
just
Boys
it's one of those things that
said it was panned by music critics, and they used a lot of auto tune.
oh, of course.
Yeah, so
Probably one of
not
those
good.
things that just can't ever be replicated, duplicated, like once in a
The '80s
lifetime.
can't be replicated. The
Yeah,
80s will
yeah,
never be
exactly.
replicated.
Yeah, exactly.
None of those. I mean, even the 90s, like those, can you replicate the 2000s? Maybe. 2010s, probably. Um, you can't. I mean, the 80s was
Different.
yeah, just the legends you had in there, the music, the, 70s were great, 60s, obviously. Um, but yeah, no, it was really cool to see all of that, how you were able to bring everybody in together. Um, the standout part to me was when Smokey Robinson yelled at Michael.
That was awesome to see.
That was like, he's like, I've known you. And when he's talking, he's like, I've known you since you were 10.
Yeah.
But if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah. He came into
Like,
Motown when and he saw yeah, that was dope.
yeah.
Because
And I
he
think like,
pretty much said like there at that point there was no one questioning anything Michael did, but he felt comfortable like he could because and he was right. I forgot exactly specifically what it was, right? It was like a certain
I think
part like
I,
the
I
words or
think they
something like
started
that.
with this. It was the words. And then I could be wrong. I think it started with when Stevie Wonder was trying to get the Swahili in there.
Oh,
And, and,
like Stevie
and,
being
and
Stevie. I'm like, what?
which I was like, I wasn't laughing at first. I was like, whatever. And then they were like, this language isn't even resonating to them, like
They
where
don't
they
even
are in
speak
Africa.
this
And I was
language
like,
yet.
oh, I was like, okay. I think it had something to do with that, but
Yeah,
that was the standout part.
that was
Um,
cool.
yeah. Any final thoughts on that?
Um, I need more documentaries like this, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a
The,
sucker for music documentaries.
the Thriller documentary, which we can maybe review one day. That was just, I don't know. It was good. It was nothing new. There wasn't a lot of footage. Like, you're telling me all you had was him recording the girl is mine. You had nothing else. There's no
Yeah,
way.
that'd be the best thing to be included in these is like we want to see raw like footage of all of this. You know what I'm saying? Not just recordings and stuff.
Yeah. Like, I want to see raw footage of her. Like, where is it?
Yeah,
Give us some recordings.
I
Give
know
us
someone
something.
got it.
Someone's got it. Give us that footage. Like, that should, like
That
the
was
Wham
funny at the end
documentary.
though with the cameraman. He didn't realize he was volunteering the whole time. I was like, oh shit. It was cool. I
They
mean,
said it
these
at the
are,
beginning of the doc that
huh?
they were looking for volunteers. They said at the beginning of the doc they were looking for volunteers. So I don't know
Yeah.
how we missed off with that. Um, but yeah, no, there's definitely bring us more. Like the Wham documentary was good. That had a lot of
There's a
footage. I don't know
yeah.
if you watched that. I
Yes.
don't know if you
Yeah.
watched it,
And
but that was good. That was solid.
it just stuff like that is just so like we're all fans, especially like us like who are into the old school stuff. Like even me, like I'm a big fan of and I love those that music and stuff like that. But like just the insight on like that doc specifically, like I guess I didn't really realize like the very short time period in which they did all this. Like it's just incredible to see. Like in a matter of
Yeah.
3-4 years, like they did all this incredible music, and then that was it. They just split up, and then he went on to
Wild.
have his own. Like that was dope.
Now I don't know if you ever saw it, but 10 years later, so like 94, 95, they did a We Are the World 10-year at the AMA. They didn't record or anything. They just had everybody come on the stage. That was in it. And maybe
Never
they had
seen
a
it.
couple guests in it. Prince comes on. Prince actually stands up there next to Quincy Jones. He isn't singing. He has a lollipop in his mouth. He's not
Bro.
singing at all. Everybody, he has slave written across his face because that was when he was in the battle with his record deal. And
Yeah,
everyone's singing, everyone's clapping, everyone's smiling. He's just sucking a lollipop. And then Quincy hands him the microphone and he just takes out the lollipop and puts it in Quincy's mouth. And then Quincy pulls away and he just smiles. And I'm like, that's epic. The legend.
yeah. He's Prince
He
is
did record a
definitely
song for it though. So that single had like four other songs on it.
really
Yeah, so
the
that was
original.
like it, yeah, the original single had and I have it right here. Well, they had two there was like a there was an album where it had a oh, is that just a single version? They made an album called We Are the World. And that had uh, it had We Are the World and then Steve Perry did a song Pointer Sisters, Bruce Springsteen did a random song, and then Prince recorded a song for it. Um,
Wow.
for the Tears
Shout
in
out
Your
to
Eyes,
Steve
like an
Perry,
acoustic.
by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
He's nowhere. He never comes around anymore.
yeah.
Never see him
I didn't
anymore.
I didn't learn that until recently that he's like Portuguese and he has like family. I'm like, bro, like this is amazing, bro. Like
Yeah.
one of the great voices of that generation, that era.
Oh yeah. Oh, one of the best. One of the best. But yeah, Prince did record a song for it. He just wasn't there.
Interesting.
In this song, he plays the guitar, so he gets
Yeah.
his little revenge back. But yeah, no, that's great. And quickly, I don't know if you ever have the time, if it ever comes around again, you need to go see the Temptations play. I went and saw that Sunday night.
This past Sunday?
Yeah, it was at
Where?
P-PAC. It was at
Wow.
P-PAC. It was. I don't know if you like the Temptations. Obviously, you probably respect them. Phenomenal. It was the best
They
play I've
put
ever
on
seen.
the
I'm not
show,
even a
huh?
play guy. They sang. It was phenomenal.
They
Phenomenal.
just
Like,
they don't make artists like that anymore. Like
no.
I feel like there's so many very much in their older years artists right now who are just still killing it like on tour. Like it's incredible to see.
They're
Like
still around.
Chris,
There's only one original guy left. They're all
yeah,
passed, but they're still going. Even you see it with I think Tavares now. Earth, Wind, and Fire has it. Like they have some of the younger kids with them now. I
yeah.
think Tavares has some of the younger kids with them, which good.
Mhm.
Keep it going. It should never stop. They'll never be the same as the original, but
The music is timeless, so why not?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. All right. So this has been a full episode. We did 3 episodes in one. You met DJ Fresco, you met me, and we talked about one of the best documentaries I've seen in the greatest night in pop. Please check us out. We're going to be on Spotify, at the industry, sponsored by South Coast Entertainment, YouTube, all of that. Our YouTube channel is going to be part of the South Coast Entertainment channel. So
yes,
check
sir.
that out. We're going to be recording on those. And, obviously check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that. I know I said Facebook twice. But other than that, we want to thank you all for tuning in. And we're excited for taking this podcast to the next level. So thank you all again. And we got to create a slogan here to
At the
say
end or
bye.
some shit.
Yeah, we got to think of something. Got to think of something like
Hit the like
stay
button,
in the mix.
subscribe,
Stay in the mix. I don't
stay in
know.
the mix. I like that.
Stay stay in the mix. Peace.